An anthology of readings of Almighty God's words. God's utterances to the entire universe. The 18th Utterance. In a flash of lightning, every animal is revealed in its true form. So too, illuminated by my light, human beings have regained the sanctity they once possessed. Oh, that the corrupt world of the past has at last toppled over into the filthy water and, sinking below the surface, dissolved into mud. Oh, that all the humanity I created has at last come back to life again in the light, found the foundation for existence, and ceased to struggle in the mud. Oh, the myriad things of creation that I hold in my hands. How can they not, through my words, be renewed? How can they not, in the light, give play to their functions? Earth is no longer still and silent, heaven no longer desolate and sad. Heaven and earth, no longer separated by a void, are united as one, never to be sundered again. On this jubilant occasion, at this moment of exaltation, my righteousness and my holiness have gone abroad throughout the universe, and all mankind extols them without surcease. The cities of heaven are laughing with joy, and the kingdoms of earth are dancing with joy. Who at this moment is not rejoicing? And who at this moment is not weeping? Earth in its primordial state belongs to heaven, and heaven is united with earth. Man is the cord uniting heaven and earth, and thanks to his sanctity, thanks to his renewal, heaven is no longer concealed from earth, and earth is no longer silent toward heaven. The faces of humanity are wreathed in smiles of gratification, and secreted in their hearts is a sweetness that knows no bounds. Man does not quarrel with man, nor do men come to blows with one another. Are there any who, in my light, do not live peacefully with others? Are there any who, in my days, disgrace my name? All human beings direct their reverential gaze toward me, and in their hearts they secretly cry out to me. I have searched humanity's every action. Among the human beings who have been cleansed, there are none that are disobedient to me, none that pass judgment on me. All humanity is suffused with my disposition. Everyone is coming to know me, is drawing closer to me, and is adoring me. I stand fast in the spirit of man, am exalted to the highest pinnacle in man's eyes, and flow through the blood in his veins. The joyous exaltation in men's hearts fills every place on the face of the earth. The air is brisk and fresh. Dense fogs no longer blanket the ground, and the sun shines resplendent. Now, look upon my kingdom, where I am king over all, and where I reign over all. From the beginning of creation until the present day, my sons have, guided by me, undergone so many of life's hardships, so many of injustices from the world, so many ups and downs of the world, but now they dwell in my light. Who does not weep at yesterday's injustices? Who does not shed tears at the hardships of getting to today? And again, are there any who do not take this occasion to dedicate themselves to me? Are there any who do not take this opportunity to give vent to the passion swelling in their hearts? Are there any who, at this moment, do not give voice to what they have experienced? At this time, all human beings are consecrating the best part of themselves to me. How many are tormented with regret for the benighted follies of yesterday? How many abominate themselves for yesterday's pursuits? Human beings have all come to know themselves. They have all seen Satan's deeds and my wonderfulness, and inside their hearts a place has been established for me. No longer will I meet with aversion or renunciation among men, for my great work has already been accomplished and is hindered no more. Today, among the sons of my kingdom, are there any who have not taken thought in their own behalf? Are there any who do not have additional cause for worry on account of the ways in which my work is done? Are there any who have sincerely offered up themselves for my sake? Have the impurities inside your hearts lessened, or have they increased? If the impure elements in your hearts have become neither less nor more, such people I will assuredly throw away. What I want are saints who are after my heart, not unclean spirits that rebel against me. Even though I do not ask much of humanity, the inner world of men's hearts is so complicated that humanity cannot readily accord with my will or immediately satisfy my desires. The great majority of human beings are secretly exerting themselves in hopes of being able to lay hold of the crowning laurel in the end. The great majority of human beings are striving with all their might, not daring to slacken for even a moment, fearful of falling captive to Satan a second time. They dare not presume any longer to harbor grievances against me, but are constant in showing their loyalty before me. I have heard the words spoken from the heart by so many people, the accounts told by so many people about the painful experiences in the midst of suffering. I have seen so many in the direst straits unfailingly offer up their loyalty to me, and watched so many, as they walked the rocky path, struggle to find a way out. In these circumstances, they have never complained. Even when, unable to find the light, they grew a little dejected, they have never once complained. But I have also heard so many people giving vent to curses from the depths of their hearts, imprecating heaven and accusing earth. And I have seen, too, so many people abandon themselves to despair in the midst of their distress, throwing themselves away like garbage into a dustbin, to be covered up with filth and grime. I have heard so many people quarreling one with another because a change in position with accompanying changes of face, has led to a change in their relationships with their fellow human beings, so that friends cease to be friends and become enemies, attacking each other with their mouths. The great majority of people use my words like bullets from a machine gun, opening fire on others unawares, until the world of men is everywhere filled with a noisy clamor that shatters the tranquil calm. Fortunately, we have arrived at today. Otherwise, who knows how many might have perished under the relentless barrage of this machine gun fire. Following the words that issue forth from me, and keeping pace with the conditions of all humanity, my kingdom, step by step, descends unto the earth. No longer does man harbor worrisome thoughts, or take account of other people, or take thought in their behalf. And so, contentious disputes are no more, and, following the words that issue forth from me, the sundry weapons of the modern age, too, are withdrawn. Man finds peace again with man. The human heart once more radiates a spirit of harmony. No longer is anyone on the defensive against covert attack. All mankind has returned to normal and embarked upon a new life. Existing in the new surroundings, a goodly number of people look around them, feeling as if they have entered into a brand new world. And because of this, they are not able to adapt to their present environment right away, or get straight onto the right track. And so, it's a case of the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, as far as humanity is concerned. Although I have not, like man, tasted the bitterness of adversity myself, I do know all there is to know about his inadequacies. I am intimately acquainted with man's needs, and my understanding of his weaknesses is complete. For this reason, I do not make fun of man for his shortcomings. I only administer, depending on his unrighteous deeds, a fitting measure of education, the better to enable everyone to get onto the right track, so that humanity will cease to be wandering orphans and become cherished babies with a home. Nevertheless, my actions are governed by principles. If human beings are unwilling to enjoy the bliss that is in me, all I can do is to go along with their desires and send them into the bottomless pit. At this point, no one should harbor grievances in his heart anymore, but all should be able to see my righteousness in the arrangements I have made. I do not compel humanity to love me, nor do I strike any human being for loving me. In me is total freedom, total release. Though man's fate rests in my hands, I have given man a free will, which is not subject to my control. In this way, human beings will not invent ways of getting into trouble on account of my administration, but will rather, relying on my magnanimity, win release. And so many people, far from being held in restraint to me, go seeking their own way out in the act of being released. I have always treated humanity with a liberal hand, never setting insoluble problems, never putting any single person in difficulty. Is this not so? Although a great many people do not love me, far from being vexed by this kind of attitude, I have given human beings freedom, allowing them leeway to the extent of letting them swim about in the bitter sea. For man is a vessel not to be prized, though he sees the blessing that I hold in my hand. He has no interest in enjoying it, but would rather pluck a scourge from the hand of Satan, thereby dooming himself to be sucked up by Satan as nourishment. Of course, there are some who have seen my light with their eyes, and so, even though they are living in the mists of the present time, they have not, on account of these obscuring mists, lost faith in the light, but continue to grope and seek through the mists, albeit along a path strewn with obstacles. When man rebels against me, I hurl my wrathful ire upon him, and so man may perish by his disobedience. When he obeys me, I remain hidden from him, in this way exciting a love in the depth of his heart, a love that seeks not to cozen, but to afford me enjoyment. How many times, in man's quest for me, have I closed my eyes and kept silent, in order to elicit his true faith? But when I do not speak, man's faith changes in an instant, and so all I see are his counterfeit wares, because man has never sincerely loved me. It is only when I manifest myself that human beings all make a tremendous show of faith. But when I am hidden in my secret place, they grow weak and faint of heart, as if afraid of offending me, or even because some cannot see my face. They subject me to a good working over, and from that conclude I do not in fact exist. How many people remain in this state? How many have this mentality? But it is just that human beings are all good at covering up what is shameful in themselves. Because of this, they are reluctant to call attention to their own inadequacies, and only admit to the truth of my words, while brazenly seeking to give protective camouflage to their own self-respect.